Welcome to this episode of Let's Talk Premises. My name's Richard.
And my name is Romy. Now, a lot of schools and trusts are thinking about compliance software at the moment, especially with everything that's shifting in 2026. Richard, why is this year particularly significant for that decision?
It's because the context has genuinely changed. So, for a long time, buying compliance software was fairly administrative. It was one of those decisions to digitize the paperwork or make the site manager's life easier or something. But that's no longer what's being asked of it. So, the DfE published their Education Estate Strategy earlier this year, and with it came a new framework, the School Estate Management Standards, or SEMS. And that defines what good estate management actually looks like. And the benchmark that they expect responsible bodies to now operate is level 3.
And just to be clear, level 3 isn't actually the entry point, is it? That's quite a significant expectation.
Yeah, absolutely. Level 1 is, that baseline, basic statutory compliance, accurate asset registers. Level 3 is data-led, risk-informed, integrated with capital planning and governance. So it's genuinely strategic. And from autumn 2026, every responsible body has to submit an annual self-assessment return evidencing where they sit against those standards.
And there are real consequences if they don't measure up, aren't there?
There is, Romy. So there's going to be a formal capability support plan. So that's 12 months of monitored intervention by the DfE. So yes, what your software can actually evidence has now become a governance issue, not just an operational one.
So, given those stakes, what's the biggest risk you see with the systems that are already out there?
So I would say it's one of those, what I might call like the green dashboard problem. Because, and what it is really, Romy, is that there are so many platforms out there. And what most of them do is a task turns green because a site manager has clicked a button or ticked a box or something. Sometimes there's no evidence uploaded or no verification that the right person did the work. Maybe no check that the correct frequency was applied. The dashboard just reads 100% compliant, goes green. So the board feels reassured and, none of it really would actually survive any scrutiny.
Which obviously means that people with governance responsibility are probably making decisions based on data that might be completely hollow and they might not even know it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's not always, negligence or anything. It's just the system doesn't demand anything better. There are a lot of basic cheap systems out there. And, there's also a related issue here too, actually, Romy, thinking about it, which is where the compliance knowledge actually lives in most schools. Because from the ones I've spoken to, a lot of the cases, it lives in just one person's head.
Yeah, the site manager. And that's obviously fine until it isn't. One person could be off sick, one person could hand in their notice, and then suddenly you're exposed in ways that you probably weren't even aware of.
Yeah, right. So, like, I don't know, they might know which water outlets are low use or where the asbestos register is or which contractors are approved for what or whatever it is, which is incredibly valuable, by the way. But it's also a potential single point of failure because the new standards are quite explicit about this. The estate knowledge has to be documented and structured and therefore transferable as well.
Yeah, and if your software isn't built to hold that detail properly, you haven't solved the problem. You've just moved it to somewhere that looks probably just a bit tidier.
That's it.
Yeah. So, Richard, for someone actively evaluating systems right now, what are the questions they should actually be asking?
First one's probably like who actually configures your compliance schedule during that onboarding. Okay, because if the answer is your site manager, they build their own task lists from our data library, I'd actually say walk away because those schedules need to be built by someone or at least checked by someone who knows the legislation and is keeping up to date with everything, effectively, some type of expert, external expert, and not just assembled by someone who's, under pressure on a Monday morning or whatever it is.
Because the system should be carrying the knowledge, not depending on the user to already have it.
That's it. That's it. Exactly that. And the second, I'd say how does the system handle condition data and life cycle planning? Because SEMS level 3 isn't just like your daily compliance. You now need something that tracks asset condition, but also models when things need replacing, and then connects that all up to capital planning. That's a very different capability to uploading a condition survey spreadsheet to a system and getting a report from it or something.
And for trusts managing multiple sites, the question of central visibility alongside site level detail is also important, isn't it? Both need
Hmm.
to work, not just one or the other.
Absolutely. And, whether you're managing one site or many, the system should be flagging what needs attention in real time, not just waiting for someone to log in and notice or something.
So what about future proofing? Because the DFE's data platform isn't standing still, is it?
No, it's going to evolve continuously, I'm sure. It's probably worth pressing any supplier on their roadmap for integrating with the MYE platform, which is the DfE's new digital estate management system. I believe even like a two-way data sharing is expected in a couple of years' time. So if the supplier can't answer that question clearly, then again, there's another gap worth taking seriously before you sign anything, which typically, Romeo, these long 3 to 5 year agreements in some cases.
Well, there is clearly a lot more to this decision than most people assume going in. If you had to leave people with just one thought from today, what would that be?
Having a system doesn't mean you're compliant, but having the wrong one makes sure you're not.
Okay, perfect. I think that's a great place to end it. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you next time.